The House Meets the Mouse Part 1 is the 23rd episode of the 6th season of Full House. This is directed by Joel Zwick, and as always there will be spoilers from now as I go through the episode and share some thoughts. And as a big Disney fan, I absolutely love it. I will say, if you're not a Disney fan, it's probably not going to be that interesting because not a lot happens in this episode. Technically, in terms of the narrative, it probably didn't need to be 2 parts. Maybe it did. We're setting the scene to get to the second episode where something dramatic has happened, and I'll talk about that when we get there chronologically. But in general, the narrative here is kind of lacking if you're not a Disney fan. But if you're a Disney fan, I think you'll find it to be absolutely delightful. It starts off with Jessie revealing that the Rippers are going to be playing at Disney in Florida, and he and Becky are going to go alone and have a nice romantic time. The boys can obviously stay at the house with everybody else. But then Joey finds out that he can go with the radio show. And then, well, everybody else is going as well. So it's a family trip to Disney. And then we get this beautiful montage of just a couple of shots of Disney and the beaches. And it's just absolutely stunning. A really nice way to transition from San Francisco to Florida. And then they go off doing their own activities. DJ keeps thinking she's seeing Steve. And this is filmed at the park. That may sound obvious, but it's worth clarifying that this was filmed at Disney World, which is just an absolute joy to see. And Michelle rubs the lamp. I'd love to know if this is still a feature. I've only been to Disney in Paris. I'd love to go to Disneyland in California. I would love to go to Disney World in Florida, but I don't do well with the heat, so there's a very small window of opportunity when I can go, when it's not sweltering. But one day I'd like to go there. But if these features are still there, I'd love to know. Or if anybody has any memory of them as well. Michelle rubs the genie's lamp and the genie pops up and it's absolutely magical. Michelle is granted princess for a day, which is a great joy. And then Joey, this is my favourite bit. Joey goes to learn about animation and he draws his own little animated character version of himself and it comes to life and he interacts with it and I absolutely love it. And then he's handed his cup of coffee in a genie mug and I want it so much. I'm pretty sure that mug does exist. Maybe not the exact one, but I'm pretty sure Disney sells a genie head mug. And I love it so much. I want to stay in that room for the whole episode. It would be a bit dull eventually because the narrative wouldn't be moving forward, but that was my favourite part. Danny is thinking of proposing to Vicky and he sees her holding this bird in a very kind of Snow White fashion and he's about to propose, but then he's interrupted. And it's joyful, it's jolly, it's beautiful, it's really good fun. And then Danny and Vicky are in a restaurant later on. He's about to propose again. And then Jessie and Joey are scuba diving in the tank. And it's quite a random part of the episode, probably the most random part. But I rather enjoyed it. And Kimmy, because of course Kimmy's on the holiday with the Tanners, Kimmy, DJ, Stephanie and Michelle are on the rides. They're enjoying the park. It's a really great way to show us the environment and the atmosphere. And I assume, I could be wrong, but I assume that this was just filmed on a regular day when the park was open and maybe they sectioned off bits of the park to film in and just kind of moved around accordingly. Because it does seem very busy, like a full day at the park. That being said, they could have although that would mean they'd have to shut down the park for a day, which doesn't seem feasible. So I'm sure somebody's got some information about this online. But either way, it feels like a regular day at a Disney park. And they're enjoying the atmosphere, enjoying the rides. DJ still thinks she sees Steve, but she doesn't see Michelle. Michelle has gone missing. And we end the episode with Danny in the restaurant, about to propose to Vicky, receiving the phone call saying Michelle has gone missing. And we end on that dramatic note. So, in terms of the narrative, it is very slow. And in theory, not a lot happens to move the narrative forward. I guess Danny trying to propose to Vicky on multiple occasions does move it forward a little bit because he's obviously getting closer and closer to doing it. But it's kind of just setting the scene, establishing the environment. And if you're a Disney fan, you'll absolutely love it. I absolutely loved it. It's also a little time capsule. I love watching YouTube videos of people going to the parks, but my favourite ones are watching the older videos from the 90s, from earlier on. it's a little time capsule, a little piece of Disney history. I particularly love the costumes the characters are wearing. We get to meet Donald and Goofy and in this episode, and it's really good fun, and it's quite fun to see the quality of the costumes as well. Not necessarily in the 90s, but certainly when the parks first opened, the costumes were not as high quality as they are now. Some of them, and I just think that's so fun. So, in terms of being a Disney fan, in terms of being an animation fan, I loved it. In terms of loving Disney history, I absolutely loved it. With regards to the story itself, it's not the strongest, but we are setting the scene for the second episode, the final episode of the 6th season. And what can I say? As a Disney fan and a Full House fan, I thought The House Meets the Mouse Part 1 was an absolute joy.